Oh wow, okay. Okay. Good night and welcome to Events on the Couch. Today is December 27, 2020, and this is the last Events on the Couch for 2020. I am just kind of like, I get actually, well, I need to turn the volume off on this one. So I can actually, I'm looking at myself here and I can actually see myself here as well. So this is kind of like, oh my God. But like I was saying, this is the last events on the couch for 2020. I am so excited to be able to sit here and do this events on the couch tonight. For those of you that don't know what events on the couch is, events on the couch was created where we talk about different aspects of the event industry. And this year I have decided to invite different friends from the industry that they can come in and share their expertise and their knowledge and their experience within the industry with us. So it's just not me sharing all my experience or all my knowledge or all my everything. This is other friends sharing as well. So I'm excited about that. Tonight we have a special guest, and our special guest tonight is going to be from the Grand Services LLC. Grand Services LLC doing things big for you. A full service catering company offering various services to achieve your needs, right? They experience show through each individual events that they accomplish. So tonight we are very excited. We're gonna have Miss Brandy. She's the owner of the Grand Service LLC with us tonight, and we are going to be talking about catering in the special events industry. So last month we talked about entertainment, so tonight we're going to talk about catering, guys. So before we get started, I do want to talk about some things I have been doing in between the last events on the couch until now. So yes, we did have our Christmas dinner. We went all the way out for Christmas dinner like I said I would. I just love Christmas, so Christmas dinner had to be special, and that's what we did. So just a little something I put together from the Thanksgiving dinner. It was really great. We had between myself and Chef Lanclose, we created the meal, and this is what we created. It was a grand old dinner. I'm telling you guys, we had an awesome time. The dinner was great. That's all I can say. And I think it really fit into tonight's topic because tonight we're going to talk about catering into your event. So, yes. So that was that right there. And that is Chef Lanclose and myself at the dinner staying like, yeah, we did that. We did that, right? So before I bring on my special guest tonight, I want to talk a little bit about New Year celebration, right? So the New Year celebration is coming up. We're still on the restrictions. We are still in a lockdown. We need to be home by 9 o'clock. I know a lot of people is trying to celebrate earlier in the year, which doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, earlier in the day, it doesn't make any sense to me. If they're trying to prevent gathering, why would you say, oh, well, let's gather earlier and then go home? Like, it doesn't really make any sense. So I just want to encourage you guys to be wise, think smart. The longer that we keep going out and this virus keeps spreading is the longer we're going to be in a shutdown. So why can't we just all come together and just be like, stay put? Stay put. Just stay put so that way we can reopen and then go ahead and have a great old time, guys. So I will invite my guest on at 7:15 to be exact, at 7:15. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and pay the bills, right? I have to pay the bills. it's only right that I pay the bills, right? So tonight's show is being sponsored by ATG Accounting and Advisors, guys. They are an accounting and advising company. They specialize in bookkeeping, payroll. They can do tax planning, tax preparation, and business validations. You can get in contact with ATG at atgadvisors.com, or you can send them an email at info@atgadvisors.com, and their phone number is 704-733-7819. Again, that number is 704-733-7819. And let me tell you something amazing about ATG. Like right now, we in the pandemic, and people are still being encouraged to stay home. So with ATG, you do not need to go to the office. You can get your tax done virtually. You just send them the documents and stuff. And they go it over with you. They look at it. They send it back to you. They ask you to approve it. Once it is approved, they ask you to sign the documents, and then boom, you get your money. You know what I'm saying? Or, you don't even have to leave your house to use their services. And they not just doing business taxes. They do business taxes and individual taxes as well. And one thing I will say, there's a difference between an accountant and a tax somebody that just do your taxes. So somebody that just do your taxes is gonna just do your taxes every year for you, and then at the end of the day, they're like, okay, bye, thank you. But as an accountant can look at your numbers and advise you on, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. You need to do this, look at this, do that. They will advise you. So that's a service that they provide as well. So don't forget to check out ATG, guys, right? And you can always tell them that Natalie sent you. Tell them Natalie sent you. So don't forget, check out ATG, and they are atgadvisors.com. They email address is info@atgadvisors.com, or you can call them on 704-733-7819. All right. So yes, we just pay the bills. Awesome. So no. Back to what we're talking about. So tonight we're going to be talking about catering for different events and stuff. And our special guest is Miss Brandy from the Grand Service LLC company, guys. We're going to ask her pretty much everything. And if you guys kind of have like a question or something that you probably want to ask, you can type it in the comments, and I will be more and welcome to ask it to Miss Brandy. And like I said, now the way everything is set up, I can actually see your guys' comments and actually can respond. Before I couldn't see the comments or anything based on how the camera was angled before, but now I can actually see everything. Plus, I also can look at it from I'm looking at the link on Facebook. It's a little bit slow, but I can still look at it that way, right? And we are going to get Miss Brandy on at 7:15, right? And I'm going to show you, this is Miss Brandy's work. It's a really nice a tray right here. So each different events, Oh, look at this. I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling hungry just looking at it, All of these is all the Grand Services LLC. This is her work, guys. She's just so talented, right? Don't you just want to just eat like, somebody need to come up with some kind of virtual eating so we can eat. So we can eat. But anyway, so like I was saying in the beginning, this is my last events on the couch for 2020. And I mean, 2020 had been such an experience for me. Um, I wouldn't say it been a bad year. I wouldn't say it been a bad year, because there's other things that I learned, and I got to get a break, which I really needed. My body really needed this break. So 2020 was just different. It take 21 days to learn a new habit, and I have been out of the office from since March. I think the last day I actually been in the office like March 17th or 18th, something like that. And I'm just kind of used to not being in the office now, but I'm still working from home. I do have a nice little tropical setup. Those of you know I'm from the Caribbean, so I kind of like to keep the Caribbean vibes around me at all times. So I have a little Caribbean setup and stuff like that at the house, and I'm loving it. I'm actually loving working from home. Yes. I don't have to try to beat traffic to get to the office to get on my calls. I don't have to do that. And those of you that don't know, so January 1st, I will be launching 3 courses. This one is going to be starting your special events slash event design company. Another one is going to be Special Events 101, where I'm going to talk about all the different things that involve being in this industry. Some people think that as planners, we just get to just dress up and just show up on a day, but we actually do a lot of work before we actually get there on the day of the event. And then a third one is going to be event professional. What's your service fee? A lot of people have a lot of problems with that, trying to charge people their services. So we're going to try to add, let's see if we can get Miss, it is now 7:15, so we're going to add Miss Brandy. Okay. A request from Miss Brandy, and we're gonna wait for her to answer, and then we're gonna get started. I'm excited. So we just waited on Miss Brandy to answer. You guys know how technology is. Technology is iffy sometimes. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it don't work. It's just iffy. But we're waiting. Okay. So Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm going to let her actually request a join in. So Brandy, go ahead and request a join in, because I can't add you on for some reason. So we can talk about the special events industry. I mean the catering. All right, so when you're having an event, and a lot of people think, a lot of people don't understand, like when you're having an event, there's different time of the day to serve different food. So if you're serving like an early morning breakfast, if you have an early morning meeting, or whatever event you have early in the morning, and you want to have food for that event, you can do like you can serve a breakfast. So you want to decide if you want to serve, depends on the length of the meeting. You want to know if you want to serve a hot breakfast, or if you want to do like a continental breakfast. A continental breakfast is like You're not gonna have any hot food. You probably have like parfaits and fruits and muffins, OJ, milk and water. That's called a continental breakfast. It's nothing hot on the menu. It's just stuff they can just grab and go. So maybe your meeting is short. Your meeting is under 3 hours. Early in the morning. It's under 3 hours. So you just get them something to go, really quick to go, right? So that's continental breakfast. So then you can offer a hot breakfast. And with a hot breakfast, this is where you offer eggs, you offer scrambled eggs, sausages, bacon, grits, um, hot tea, coffee, anything that's hot. Um, what am I missing? Oatmeal. Yeah, you offer something hot. That's like for your meetings that's going a little bit longer, and you're probably not offering like a snack before. Let's say you have an all day seminar, and you're not going to offer like a snack, right? So you want to do a hot breakfast so it can hold them over until lunchtime, right? But if you want to do like a continental breakfast and then still offer like a snack break, you can do that as well until lunchtime. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When if somebody is attending your event and they're hungry, they are not focusing, they are not thinking about anything you're thinking about. Anything you're thinking about, they are not thinking about that. Guys, they are not thinking about that. They cannot concentrate if they're hungry. People don't concentrate if they're hungry. Some people get bad attitude. They just be like, yeah, it's just it's like, no, I don't want to do anything. It kind of turns them off a little bit. So that's something to think about when you have an event, an early morning event. If you're having a late night event now, so let's say you're having like a reception, probably you want to give somebody an award, like an award ceremony, or you want to do like launch a product. Um, you want to what like anything along that lines, networking, launch a new product, recognize someone, do an appreciation event, anything like that is along that line. For like you want to do it like an early evening if you're not going to serve a dinner. So if you're not going to serve a dinner, you want to do that early evening. That way you can serve entrees and appetizers and stuff like that. You want to do like little sandwiches, um, little rolls, little wraps, just little small stuff. You don't want to do nothing crazy at all, guys. You don't want to do nothing crazy, right? You just want to do like little small stuff. Um, you might want to have a little sparkling something to drink, or if the budget doesn't allow that, you can just have like mimosas. Then the budget don't allow that, just have regular juice and water, or sweet tea and water. People don't complain for that either. Then when it comes to galas, so a gala is pretty much a fancy dinner. So like a lot of times, every time I hear the word gala, I get so excited because, to me, I I kind of like over the top events. Like I don't really like basic events. I don't really like doing basic events because I think basic event. Hey, Brandy, you can try calling in, or let me try calling you back. Let me try calling back Brandy again. Let me try. Okay, so let's see if we're gonna get her on again. Hi.
sorry I'm late.
Oh, how are you?
I was trying to couldn't even find my equipment. I was like, I know my tripod is here. Where is it?
You know, it's always something.
Yes.
How you been?
Busy.
That's a good thing.
Hallelujah.
I know. I was like, the other day, I was like, I do not envy no caterer right now, because I was like, first time in a long time, I can actually like relax. Like,
Yes. Look, I'm about to make a vacation. I said, well, God be the glory. I can do that. I don't have to say, let me put a request in.
right.
Can I get a vacation time?
Right.
Ask nobody. Just say, I'm gonna be here.
Right.
I'm not gonna work next week. You know. So.
Right. I was like, oh my God. I know how the holidays is just crazy.
Yes, look at you. I'm over here still trying to adjust myself. I think I finally figured out how to work this tripod.
Okay. I
Yes,
have a
because
new one too, and it's pretty good. I kind of like the angle. I have a new one, and I think it's working good.
yeah, I like this one just because.
But you sideways.
I'm sideways.
Yeah.
That better?
Okay, you better. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay, you better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see your assistant.
Yeah. Want to be assistant.
Oh man. So I was going over telling them a little bit about your company and stuff, but
Okay.
I'll just give you the flow. Just go ahead and tell us about your company and tell us what kind of services you offer and all that amazing things.
Oh yes. So if you have the questions you want to ask me, go ahead. I am because I probably won't remember exactly all the questions that you've asked. I've already gone through them, but to be like blah blah blah. No, I'll
Right,
just
right.
take your cue.
Right. I'll
And
do that. I'll do
look, I
that.
said, let me throw my jacket on so I can look halfway apart. You know, I heard that's important these days. You know, look
Right.
apart.
Right.
So I'm warm and I'm cozy, and this is that time of the year. So, but
Right.
yes, I am the operator and owner of the Grand Services. I am a multi-service company with a couple of other entities that I'm really getting ready to push out within the year.
Nice.
I don't know if it's going to be like 6 months or if it's going to be a little after that, but
Okay.
definitely making um, some things that really like are near and dear to my heart that I've experienced, and I see that there's not enough of. There's some people that are out there that are providing that opportunity, but I think the more the merrier. It can always be a benefit.
Exactly.
Definitely for the full service that's going on now is catering, and that entails the private chef, the personal chef, meal consultant, um, meal prep, all that in a whole basket.
Right.
Uh, Private chef is really very popular, just simply because the epidemic and pandemic that's going on now. It's more convenient for people to be at home. They in their own space, their own domain. They
Right.
feel um, they don't need to feel like they're exposing themselves to what's out in the elements. Um, it's just all in all, it's a good thing. I mean, and you get more intimacy in that fashion when
Right.
you're being out in public.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's about it. That in a nutshell, full service catering. Um, Still people are having events, the weddings.
Right.
So
No,
there's
let them know. Let them know that you travel.
yes, and I do travel. I have been from almost east to west, North
Right.
Carolina, North Carolina.
Right. I be like, look at that Mountain
In
View.
South Carolina, and we're gonna cross into Virginia. So
Right.
I travel. Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed.
Right. Right. Let them know you travel.
I like it. And I like to see the different areas that, most of the time that you don't get an opportunity to unless you say, hey, I'm going to take this weekend and I'm going to go travel to the mountains, or I'm going to take this weekend or take a week and go to the coast.
Right.
It's really fun for the fact that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm traveling. I'm up and down the highway. I feel like I'm gonna have to start thinking about adopting some area codes because I've been there quite frequently. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
it's a great thing. It's been a great
Right.
opportunity and a great blessing. Um, what else did you want to find out about? The thing is, how to book a caterer. So
Right.
for myself in my business, um, that I'm trying to rebuild. I've had some people that I was working with before, and even once before the pandemic occurred, everybody had kind of gone their own way. So I
Okay.
put that out there too. I am looking for a few good hands
Okay.
in time, and with definitely with experience.
Right.
Um, Hospitality is no joke.
Right. Oh yes.
It can make you feel like, I don't know
Right.
if I want to do this today, and I might not want to do this tomorrow.
Right.
But in all of it, it's a really good thing. It's very humbling because you're
Right.
serving other people. So
Exactly.
definitely need you that type of personality to involve with the public, with
Right.
people, because some people are very rude and be very honest. Some people are very grateful. So with that being said, um, the personal is also an option too, because the personal becomes where you need somebody on a regular basis, or a consistent basis, maybe not every day, but on a consistent basis to prep your meals, um, help you cook your meals. You might want to do a couple of cooking lessons. That I think is great because you never can be too old to learn something,
Right.
and you can always take that with you. Like that's never something that somebody can take away from you.
Right.
um,
Right. Right.
Definitely with that. And but booking a chef caterer of myself, it's not hard at all if you know social media, if you know Google, because I personally didn't even know that I like hit Google until I had a couple people say, well, I just typed in private chef and you popped up.
Popped up. Right.
What? Wait a minute. Hold
Right.
up. I did. Okay.
True.
It's
Right. People don't understand the power of social media. Like the internet is just like a mind of its own.
That other chef right there, James
Right.
T. Coleman, boy, he is on the. And we've grown up together from school age, and he isn't a chef, and
Right.
I don't know exactly what inspired him to become one,
Mhm.
but I like his work, definitely like his
Right.
work.
Right.
Um, but it's easy. Click on social media, type in Google. Um, Definitely get a contact number I can post that, have it posted later.
Right.
um, Email is another option, so it's definitely not hard to reach out to me. With that being said, booking a caterer from me is pretty easy, especially if you know something that you already have in mind. If you want to have appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, if you want to have a birthday party, baby shower, it's pretty much we connect, we talk on the phone. I really like to not think of people as a client. I like to think of people as a guest.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
my mantra, as they say, is that you're more family than you're just a client, because
Right.
I don't just as a number. I try to connect with people on a almost a personal level to
Right. 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 Right.
and dislikes. Anything else you would like to know, madam?
So I do have, so let's say like, so like a lot of people like they first time hiring like a caterer, they normally just have the event at home and they just chose something in the backyard, and then now they decide to hire like a professional caterer, and then they be like, oh wait, wow, wow, why is it so expensive? Like, why is this? Why is that? Like, how do you like? How do you
Well,
handle that?
that is a great topic to talk about. On and on about that. I'm going to try to keep this in a nutshell. Um, you pay for what you want. You
Okay,
pay for it.
right,
You got champagne wishes and beer money. You might want to think about that twice before you just be like, I'm just going to willy-nilly ask somebody to do something,
right,
because you don't want to look like you just do something together versus you want to have something that looks presentable. And
exactly,
people talk, and unfortunately that's how society is.
right,
So they won't necessarily just be talking about you, they'll be talking about whoever you had provide services for you. So I would just definitely say research, know what you're getting yourself into, know the background information of who you are inquiring services from,
right,
because you don't want a bad result. You want to have a good time. You want to have memory. You want to cherish memories from that.
right,
So,
right.
and nobody's perfect. Things happen. So, it can still be a win-win for everybody.
Right, right, right. So, like before, like everyone wanted to do the buffet style. I want to do buffet style because it's cheaper. But
Right.
now with like COVID and everything else, you know, are you trying to, how do you advise customers, your clients on the whole like buffet dinner and COVID, and just trying to make people understand like, hey, this is something real. Like, how do
And
you?
it's very hard. People are still really like, I still want it this way. So I pretty much I am doing what the guests are wanting, but I definitely keep that on the forefront. Say, if you're inviting people, make sure that you are going to have some type of guidelines. Um, I think even the people that are asking for like these weddings, like I have a wedding that I thought was maybe going to be like next year, but no, they're like, we're booking out till 2022. Just because we want to make sure that this thing is over. And it's really good that I'm not really entangled with a lot of the bigger number people. Like,
Right,
people are, honestly, if people are asking for like 50 and up right now, I'm not doing it.
right,
Just because there's no possible, there's a possible way, but you don't want that, um, those bigger numbers to deal with people trying to keep their distance, because it's
right,
honestly not going to happen. Um,
exactly,
so, and you just have to be very honest with yourself about that. So, um, you can have a smaller event if it's intimate, maybe 10 to 20 people
right,
at that it's a comfortable number. So if you have a place that's accommodable for that, and that's another thing, I tell people, is your space going to accommodate for that setup? If
right,
if you do a buffet style, you might want to have somebody serve versus them doing it themselves.
right,
Um, and if you do that, of course, you're gonna have to add that in your budget. Um,
exactly,
so
exactly,
those things, and also, of course, making sure that if they're gonna have guests, make sure that they're gonna follow those procedures as they have come with masks. I understand you're gonna
right,
sit and eat and drink something, but still keep that in mind. Make sure you wear it.
right,
Sanitize
right,
and wash your hands, sanitizer. Those are things that are definitely still on the books for making
right,
sure precautions. Myself or whoever's helping me, we're coming and we're masked up the whole time. We gloved up the whole time. We wash our hands, we sanitize our hands, because really the health department could come in and be like, so you guys not washing your hands and sanitizing in between changing your gloves, because that's what you're supposed to do.
right. People don't understand the power of the health department. They don't. I be like, y'all don't understand. They
Yes,
will
they
shut it down like,
shut it down all the
yeah,
way. You'll be mad.
like event is over.
Yes, and I'm not one for that. I do not want that. No type of those problems. No,
Right,
no,
right,
not at all. So I'm
right,
I'm very stickler to that. And people have gotten really comfortable. They're in their own home, but
right,
kind of just make sure you stay over there. Thank you, appreciate it.
right, right,
Not
right,
my
right,
not
right,
in my
right,
space. I like
right.
it, but
Yeah.
I appreciate. Um,
Yeah. Like for me, I just be straight up with my guests, with my clients. I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if your event have 10 people, it's still going to be the service fee is still going to be the same. So it's
right,
just, you just, because I'm still going to be doing the same thing. So never because you
right,
have less people or more people. So just wait it out. Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
I'm going to spend the same hours doing the same thing. So
exactly. That's true. That's
yeah,
very true.
just wait it out.
Yeah. So, um,
Yeah.
wanted to know. Let's see.
All right. So you did say your company is a full service
Yeah.
company, right? So if somebody coming to you to book a dinner, do you provide silverware as well, like the
Yes,
dishes and okay.
I do actually add that in. Well, add that in the budget as well.
Okay.
Any that's outside of your food expense because that's
Right.
a paper product or
Right.
utensil product.
Right.
So that's an additional fee, or even alcohol,
Right.
um, additional fee. Cleanup is depending upon if it's just a private event, then cleanup usually comes along with it. Some people, they'll decline it, and that's fine.
Right.
Um, so cleanup, service, like full service. If you need someone to pass hors d'oeuvres, you need someone to be semi bartender. That's a
Right.
fee. Um, not have you don't want to not provide that, you don't not want to miss out on that opportunity, but understand that that's an extra fee as well. um Anything else? Full small wares, glasses, any of those things,
Right.
those come as an addition.
Okay, so just for someone that don't really know what full service mean, would
Hmm.
you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, full service would be someone serving your event, someone doing adding the extra, uh, being an attendant, and that goes along with your full service.
Right.
Full service would be your app your I guess if you're depending on how many courses you're having. So most of the time it's a 3-course meal that comes along with everything else. Some people have different. I've had people that have asked for the 4-course meal, the
Mm-hmm.
amuse bouche, appetizer,
Yeah.
trade, dessert,
Yeah.
coffee and tea afterwards.
Right.
I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I'm doing it today. I'm like that, and it's fun because then it's like for different people that haven't done that before, that's a memory that'll be like,
Exactly.
yeah, I like that. Like,
Right.
if just kick my feet up and I'm not thinking about having, no, I got that. Would you like your glass refreshed? I got all that.
Right. Right. Right.
Serve from the right to left. It's
Right.
That's your full service.
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. That's what I was trying to. I was like, yeah, I like fancy events more. Um, it just kind of the excitement of it all. It's just like, oh my god, yeah. Like
It is exciting with that. Yep.
Right, right. So, is there any misconception about caterers?
Regarding what?
So,
Give me an example.
so let's say, oh, so, well, let's change it up. So, let's say, do somebody have to be a chef to be a caterer?
Almost, it's kind of almost my personal opinion when it comes to
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
Um, Personally, I would say no. I
Right.
think it comes with experience
Right.
in being in the food and service industry.
Right.
Um, I don't think necessarily you have to be a chef, but I think the mantra of that is the background kind of it entails most people are chefs. And even if you're a chef, that you don't have to necessarily be certified to be a chef.
Right.
Um, it, I mean, it comes with that's the level that you want to put yourself into when you're like, I'm certified with this, I'm certified with that. Those are
Right.
you're gonna pay for that. So,
Right. Right.
um,
Right.
most people went to school for that. So, of course, yeah, they want their value of their work.
Right.
That's all in all to it.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and have been doing it for 20 years. That's just and that's how I got started with it. Was I was self-taught. My family has a catering, well, kind of really had a catering business. They don't do it as much anymore. Um,
Okay.
they're kind of at church with that. So,
Mhm.
um, but that's how I became self-taught with being in the kitchen, cooking,
Right.
and
Right.
it's so that's that pretty much in a nutshell. And even though I tried to kind of divert and go a different direction, it just came back around and bit me. It came back around. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that hurt. Like, but it was like, wake up, girl. Like, this is what you can do. Like, you got skills.
Right. Right.
Don't
Right.
waste them talents because you got them. So, yeah.
Right. 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 Right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So for someone who wants to get into like the catering business, what advice would you give to them?
So, I would definitely say mentor. Be a mentor with someone. Get a mentee to guide you through that, because it's
Right.
not really easy as most people just think, oh, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna just be a caterer. No, you might want to get some type of background information about that before you start just throwing yourself out there to the wolves. uh,
Right.
it's crucial. It's not, it can be done, but it's very crucial.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements to catering that people don't really recognize. They
Yeah.
just think, oh, you just cook the food. And there's a lot of elements like
Mm. I will try and say professional. Yes, ma'am. It is. It's like a disrespectful tone when people act like that.
right.
I just can't go in there and say, "Oh, I can do your hair," because I'm out here um, saying I can put some curls on somebody's hair. That's like, well, I went to school to learn how to do that. I took
Right.
years to do that. So it's
Right.
like
Right. Right.
it happened overnight, you know.
Right.
So it's definitely get a background field about that. I mean, that's just like you say, I'm a nurse. You can't go in there and give somebody medicine. Like, you got to know what you're doing before you just jump out here and say,
Right.
I'm not.
Right. I would definitely say do like an internship or something.
Yes.
Because
That's,
I know for me, what I did, I had got a job first with a catering company
mm-hmm.
before I was like, okay, and I actually was with that company for 2 years before I actually venture off on my own. It
Right.
was, yeah, I was like, okay, let me see what this is about.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like when I used to do like catering, I would meet people in the elevator and they'd be like, oh, you cater? Oh, I should do that too. I'd be like, okay. I just like, oh, okay. Okay.
It's very hard. Like, I don't know if you can notice, but I can be a little animated and, a little dramatic. And people talk like that. I am I
They do.
close my eyes. I just hold my head down and close my eyes, because if I look at them when they say that, my whole facial expression is gonna change, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's not like
Mm-mm.
that. But
I
in order
just
say professional because I never know who I'm going to run into. I just look
Right, right.
at and take a second because that's like my mouth is going to open right after it. So it's like, well, you might want to think about that before you just say, I'm going to become something that you've never done before.
Not me. I just say, okay.
See, I would be probably saying that okay and bust out laughing in their face. So that's why I just take a moment to digress and just say, what you should really say is, Brandy, okay, and just let them know they might want to just look into that informational background before they, go jumping off the deep end.
Right.
It's not a hard thing, but it's something that, I was watching The Butler yesterday for the first time, and I was like,
oh, I love that show.
like, okay, I mean, there is a servitude about it, and it makes you humble yourself in the fashion of what you do.
Right.
So if you know your disposition is not as pleasant, you might want to think about, how can I figure out how to do something else and use my talents versus forcing yourself into something of that nature.
Right.
And you got to have a passion for it. And I love it. Like, I really try. I have a struggle with food a lot. I've struggled a lot with food. It has always been my friend, like a best friend, almost lover type.
2:00 in the morning, 3:00.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't care if I'm up at 4:00. I'm snacking on popcorn. I done came in the kitchen popcorn, fresh popcorn. Like, I took the pan, I put some oil, corn kernels in there, and I'm popping popcorn.
Right.
If I don't ask, like, it's that bad sometimes. So I try to control my eating habits, and my clothes have recently told me so. Like, so I really have a passion for it, because I'm in there and I'm like, oh, I done created something that I don't know. Can I Google that? Let me see. Can I that up? And it's like it's like I've had it I've done it something similar to that. So it's like, I'm on that same page. Yep. I'm yep. Or something that hit me that I'll just sit and think I've tasted, and I'm like, oh, I know what I could do with this, and I could do something different with that. So
right.
And I do it and I perform it. Yeah, you can tell that they like, oh, there's the love for it. Sometimes it doesn't work as much as I want it to, but
right.
It's like, okay, trial and error. Try that again later.
Right.
Got those errors and think about that. Yes.
So what are some of the downsides about being a caterer?
Time.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. I do struggle with that. I have my strengths and weaknesses, and that is a factor for me. Whether it's I'm taking the time, like when I get off the interview with you, like I keep reminding myself, like I need to send out my reminders for this week, and I need to do invoices, and I have somebody that sometimes helps me, but that's not on a permanent basis. But it's time. It's time away from family. Like, as you saw earlier, my youngest one, he loves attention. So, and he understands, but he doesn't quite understand, that it's mommy now has a business where she's not away from home as before, versus now I'm at home. Just coming at home, I'm sitting and twiddling my thumbs. And I think that too, like, oh, you're at home all day. Okay, I'm at home all day, but I have to learn to manage time a little bit better, where it's like, okay, my time is blocked off from such time to such time.
Right.
Family time. Okay, and I got this time, business hours are from such and such time to such and such time. And if I go past that, then I understand that now I have to cut off time from doing something else. So time is a kind of downfall from that.
Yeah, you must set the business hours. Otherwise, you're just going to run yourself dry.
Yeah. And at first, that's what was happening. Like, when I first got back into doing the catering and private chef, I was consumed with it. Like I would be on the computer, or I'd be on the internet, I'd be on my phone looking at bids, or looking at my platform, or I'm
Right.
reading this, and I'll find myself, I'm still up at 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm supposed to be back up at 9. I was
Right.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so
Right.
I want to relax, release some of that,
Right.
and just be thankful that I can wake up the next morning and look at something else again, and just go through it the same way. So it just,
Right.
your time is really consumed a lot with that. Or if I'm out with an event that's taking longer than I suspect that I'm planning to, it's time.
Right, right, right. So what I have actually, so I always had like business time. I never respond. Like after I cut it, I never respond. But during the pandemic, what I really learned is I can answer the next day and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like for real. Because like
That's
before,
it.
yeah, because before, like I always want my clients to feel like they're my only client.
Right.
I'd be at another event and I'm like, oh God, I gotta respond to this.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
learned this during the pandemic. They'll be all right if I answer tomorrow. Like,
That,
yeah, yeah,
exactly. I wish everything could be automatically responded to,
right,
because I can't respond when I'm on an event and I got a knife in my hand. Like, it's just not happening.
right,
Um, I gotta just wait until I either get home or it's the next day.
right,
And I'm not gonna. I've literally, like, it's funny because I went from one event and I got a referral to a couple's parents that they were
right.
having an event. I was talking to the lady on the way home. She was like, "I'm so excited, and I want to talk to you now." And I was like, "Hey." I'm trying to, and it helped because I talked to her for probably about 45 minutes of my ride, so it kept
Right,
me awake.
right,
But
right.
I was like, yeah, I gotta learn how to be
Yeah,
up, put time out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So do you have any Valentine's special, New Year's specials coming up? Well, probably not New Year's because it's this week. Maybe Valentine.
So I don't even know. It's crazy, just the fact that I can't even do specials. Like, I don't, my time is so consumed with my platform, and I use
Right.
I'm on Thumbtack. So if anybody else also needs to reach me, I'm on Thumbtack. I was on Easy Cater. I'm not as effective on Easy Caterer.
Okay.
I was at one point, but I did forget about Thumbtack. So Thumbtack is another way to reach me. And I think once people just type private chef, I think Thumbtack comes up, and then you
Okay.
can Google and connect with me that way too. But I can't. I'm like, my phone has gone off 2 times since I've been on here on this interview talking to you. Like, I'm looked up and was like, Jesus Christ. So I don't even have the opportunity to really just say I want to do a
So
Valentine.
special, right?
I actually right now have someone that I'm possibly gonna. I'm keeping that open, but I got a repeat customer
Right.
that's coming back, that's already hit me up 2 weeks ago. It was like, so do you have anybody for Valentine's Day already? I was like, not yet, but make your plans quick, because I can't, I can't even think about Valentine's Day yet, because I'm just still trying to get over. I just picked up somebody for New Year's. So
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
yeah, that's comes a part of that time factor. So I was like, I'm really gonna try to figure out how I can work this out, because I have some other things that I want to kind of go in direction for. So it's like,
Right.
I love it. I love the inquiries. I love to get the new business, but it's like, how, that's the question I do want to, think about and sit down and discuss with, some other people of business nature. How do you curve that time around trying to add more things to your business, to add more revenue or add more growth? You can kind of get stuck in doing doing the
And the
same service.
admin stuff, you're doing so much admin stuff
Yeah,
that you don't really have time to do the production stuff. And now you're
right.
doing production stuff and you don't have time to do the admin stuff. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know
So
exactly what you're talking about.
I wanna go into some actual different avenues because I could really, really, really turn things out like man, like and really feel like wow, like this is amazing.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I'm gonna try to put some time into figuring that out. So
Right.
right now, Valentine's and what's another holiday that's coming up? Valentine's. We got February, got March. That's what St. Patrick's is in March.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I guess that's another considered major holiday because I was gonna throw out some. I was surprised I had time enough to do Thanksgiving, but since then I had that Thanksgiving was the only time I did some type of promo.
Okay.
Else is like, no, I don't even need to. They just keep popping up. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
and it's funny how it's become like almost first come first serve on certain dates because I could get somebody that's asking for a date and there's three other people that asked for that same date. So
Right.
I'm like, whoever pays their deposit first, or they pay the full thing in up front. That's another thing that I take payments. I at least take a deposit and your final payment for your event. So I've had that all done in advance. So when I get there, I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about did you pay. We don't want to take that time to do that because
Exactly. You don't want to
anything.
lose the check while you're there. You don't.
I do not want to produce anything until the clear house is cleared. So we don't. I can't. We cannot operate like that because I have been burnt so many times in doing this business, and it just became that I had to put my foot down and was like,
Right.
I'm good. Um, if I don't get this client or get this guest right now, okay, that money wasn't meant for me.
Exactly.
I keep it moving.
Exactly.
First it would bother me, but then I got a tough skin. Like, okay, shake that off, girl. Can't do that. Keep it moving.
Right. Right.
It's somebody enough, and it winds up being somebody else comes, and it's the following week. Like, oh, I ain't missing no money. That's
Right. Right. Right.
they.
Yeah, another thing, you just gotta look at it like if that was supposed to be your client, it's gonna be your client, for whatever reason, that person, they probably just
So
couldn't afford your service,
yeah.
Like I was telling my last guest that like we was talking about like when I send somebody like the code and then they like never like book. I was telling her like I don't take it personal because I know for a fact when I go to the store and I see like a dress and I'm like, oh, that is so cute. And then I see the price tag, I be like, oh, this is ugly.
Yeah.
so I'm like, I don't take it personal because I know how I be. So I'm like,
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing here.
yeah,
Um, when I got burnt one time, major. I mean, like major. I like had already bought food, prepared the food, bought alcohol, got everything together, and to turn around and you say, I send you a quote, the final quote is 6:30 in the morning, and your event is at 12 o'clock, and you say to me, oh, no, well, no, thank you. What do you mean? No, thank you. You no, we do deposit and full payment,
right,
and then we have a signed invoice as
right,
a
right,
so we don't
right,
play those games anymore. Like,
right.
ma'am.
Look, one time I had to give a $973 credit.
Woo, Jesus.
And
Woo,
listen, it was 3 days before Christmas.
oh, Jesus.
Only because I did not make them sign off when I drop off the stuff.
Woo, yes, honey. I can't. Mm-mm.
So
No, no.
now you see why I left it alone. I was like,
Yes. So that and I don't have that. Like I said, I don't have that that problem. You know, right now.
Right.
Just because it's not something that I am gonna even have to, that I even tolerate. Like, we
Right.
can't. Why do you think that I'm supposed to provide a service for you if you're not paying me what is agreed upon? You
Right.
know, there's some
Right.
changes that
Right.
made, it's changes that
Right.
need to be made,
Right.
but we can't move forward until that. And
Right.
some people don't understand that. And I was like, it's you can't take this type of a business approach with anybody else. You wouldn't go to the other folk and ask them, can you do that? And they gonna
Right. Right. Right.
to. So
Well, when I did my certification, I learned that from my the instructor. She was like she been in the industry for like 20 years, and she was saying like oh, you gotta be very careful, make sure you get your payment before, because like after, she like they'll be having the best time at the event, and then you send the final invoice and they'll be like, well, the rice was a little salty.
yep, yep, yep. Won't that? Yeah. No, no.
So it's always easier for you to give a credit than you say, hey, give me my let me send you this invoice later on. Yeah.
Exactly. That I mean, it only makes sense. It's just kind of only right, and it only makes sense.
Right,
You,
right,
it's just the way business has to operate,
right,
and people like it, and some people don't, and it's
right,
fortunate,
right.
But um, hey, what
Right.
can
And I was telling someone the best part about being in this industry is people. And the
mm-hmm.
worst part about being in this industry is people.
Yep, exactly. It's people versus people.
Yeah, because you'll meet so many so nice people, and then you just meet some mean people for no reason. Be like, why? Or like, do you need a hug? Like, why?
Yeah, exactly. And even before I was working this business, on my own,
Yeah.
I in other places like the bed and breakfast,
Right.
they were good. That the bed and breakfast. Whew. I mean, the littlest thing could be wrong, and they're talking to management, and I'm like, I would just be in my mind like, was it that serious? It
Right.
wasn't that, and
Right.
but it just made me say, well, think about it for yourself in your own shoes.
Right.
So if you were that person that's getting the service, would you want that type of service for yourself?
Right.
And you would say no. Like,
Right.
so
Right. Right.
use. I mean, you
Right.
can all your apologies if you want to, but at the end of
Right.
the day, is it going to
Right.
matter? Yes,
Right.
it's going
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
to.
Thank you, Brandy. This was awesome.
I'm glad. I appreciate you. I was like, what's Miss Natalie sending me a message about? Let me see. I was like, is she trying to put me on to somebody? I said, I was wondering, I was thinking about you. Like, I'm saying, are you not doing the catering that much anymore? Are you just doing your focus on special events? Is doing
Yeah,
the
so the thing about catering, I just have like a certain clients that I just kept, but I don't like advertise catering anymore. So I just have my private clients that I have, because I
guy.
started another business that is like extremely demanding of my
Mhm.
time. It's like suck the life out of me. It's like leave me alone, but no, don't leave me alone. So I couldn't do the catering because like sometimes you gotta get up like 3 a.m. to start working on your catering work. You do.
Yes. I mean, your average person would not, most average people don't really understand. It's kind of like you're kind of like a doctor. You work crazy hours.
Yeah.
Um, it's nothing set in stone,
Right.
because if you have a breakfast that's supposed to be at 6 a.m., you can't start your breakfast at 6 a.m. You have to
Right.
start your breakfast maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Right.
on where you're going, if it's in the same facility that you are. So you still want to have time enough to prep everything, cook
Right.
everything, check
Right.
everything so that
Right.
it goes smoothly. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
Time is very
Some
limited.
days you won't be able to feel your feet.
Woo.
Your back
And
will be like, your back be like, sit down, girl, sit down right now.
I'm not 20 no more, so it's really hurry up and sit your behind down, girl, because you know you're gonna be hurt. And you're gonna hurt by the time you leave from here. You're gonna be limping to the car, but I
Right.
live from
Right.
here. You are gonna be in
Right. People
10,
don't understand. Sometimes the
hours.
guest is out in the front having a good time, and you in the back, you sitting on the floor like, oh, let me stretch my feet real quick.
Yeah, I'm kicking my feet, kicking my shoes off, like, oh my God, like, please somebody get back up
Right.
again. And
Right. You see?
so I love that's a con to or pro to being a private chef. It's like I'm my minimum is 4 hours. So if you're requesting any type of event like that,
Yeah.
it's a minimum of 4 hours.
Okay.
You're doing like a personal chef, that's a minimum of 3. So
Mm-hmm.
I could be there from 3, I could be there from 4 to 6 hours, depending upon what's going on,
Okay.
especially if I'm having a good time. But I can be like, well, that concludes your service for tonight.
Right.
I appreciate you, my business. We all appreciate you, and say good night.
Right. Right.
Stage left, exit. So, yeah,
Right. Right.
it does not have to tolerate those long, crazy 10, 12, 14 hours working for somebody
Right.
and being there, the prep 2 days ahead of it, bands. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. Nobody can,
Yeah.
people have asked me before, like, don't you want a brick and mortar? No,
Mm-mm.
I'm good. I,
Mm-mm.
I don't want that type of overhead. And I say no for now.
Right.
I my spirit that that's something that I'm thinking I'm gonna start looking into in regards to just having my own space, to have my
Right.
own kitchen, to not have
Right.
to share a kitchen with somebody else
Right.
or
Right. Right.
a bunch of people. That's definitely something I would think about doing. Like I would like to start doing some pop-ups.
Okay.
So that's still a popular thing with the pop-ups.
Yeah.
Um, Underground, doing the underground stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. This was good.
Yes, ma'am. It's all fun when you come to the grand. It's all
Right.
yes.
Right. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. I appreciate you reaching out always. Anytime I know if somebody needing something, I'm sending them always your way. It's plenty of people that I could send, some events to, but
Right.
um,
Right.
I definitely keep in mind too. I with consulting you with about setting up stuff
Right.
that I
Right.
have. If there people are asking for like table decor, I
Right.
definitely got to Miss Natalie at
Right.
any.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you, like for real. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, ma'am. We will talk to you soon.
All right, enjoy the rest of your night.
Yes, indeed.
Bye
Have a good
bye. All right, good night.
good night.
All right. Okay, guys, that was Miss Brandy from the Grants Services LLC. You can contact them for all your catering needs. And before I log off, I want to just go ahead and pay the bill. Okay, guys, I want to pay the bill so we can do this again. Next month is going to be the last Sunday in January, guys, 7 p.m. I'm going to be here live again with another special guest. And tonight's show was sponsored by ATG Advisors. They do bookkeeping, payroll, tax planning, tax preparation, and business valuation. They do both business and personal taxes. So don't forget to contact them. And like I said earlier, they do provide a virtual service. So all you need to do is just email them your information and they will go it over and you'll sign it somehow, and then you'll get your money and you're good to go. So don't forget to check out ATG Advisors. And thank you guys for joining tonight live Events on the Couch. And I am your host, Natalie. Have a good night.